Hey guys, I hope you're hungry. Welcome back to War Stories here on the Fallen Sins channel. My name is Jericho. Today I'm joined by Science Sentry, and we are here to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Hi.
Hi. So, as usual, we will start with our basic impressions of the movie, then we will move on to more detailed things that we specifically liked or did not like, and we will finish off with spoilers towards the end of the episode. So, what do you think of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
I loved it. I didn't love it as much as the first one. It just wasn't as, it didn't have the novelty, I guess. But it was still really fun, and same with the soundtrack. Soundtrack really is it's really good, and I have some really good ones in there, and I'll probably want to listen to them, but it's not as catchy as the first one.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to nobody expected the first one to be as good as it was. Right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, that's true, but I also think even objectively, like, we watched it the night before we went to go see Volume 2. And even knowing full well how good it was, and having already watched it, like, this is probably our fifth time watching it? Fourth or fifth?
Yeah.
I still think it was a better movie overall.
Yeah. I'm not saying like that's the only reason, but it's something to remember.
Yeah.
Like that I think some of the reactions to the first one that were so positive were because like, people did not know the characters, they did not know what to expect, and it ended up being like crazy and funny and unique and different and
Yeah.
felt way more like something new and special than a lot of the other Marvel movies had done. And this one, so I really liked it too. I liked it a lot. It's probably my favorite movie that I've seen in theaters so far this year. I can say that pretty definitively. At least he was a doctor.
Yeah.
He has his doctorate in murdering Dengar. Or his PhD, I should say. So, the beginning of the movie, I felt like someone else was making it. And they wanted to take everything that people liked from the first one. Mm-hmm. It felt more artificial.
Like having to have the music for the intro battle.
They had to have a crazy action scene. They had to show Drax being crazy and oblivious and doing stupid stuff. They had to show Gamora being like overly serious and the way she spoke, and they had to show Groot being silly and Rocket being an asshole and having all these special tools and gimmicks. Like, it was like they said, this is what these characters are, because they had never seen the movie, but they had to make the sequel. Make Volume 2 show the characters like that.
In the first
first scene, yes, right when the movie starts.
Yeah.
But it grows into itself and gets awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really liked it, and I think what sets this movie apart from other Marvel movies to me and makes it so much better is, unlike many other Marvel movies, it gets better throughout.
Yeah.
I would say almost every Marvel movie, the third act is, if not the weakest, then the second weakest.
Yeah.
Like, always the first act is the best.
Very often.
Yeah, if not every single time. I'm sure there's an outlier that I'm not thinking of. Like, for example, the original Avengers, the finale is really good and exciting and, and good. But this movie got better and better throughout. Like, and the final scenes and final shots were my favorite. Like, every single scene was better than the one before it, almost.
Yeah, it definitely felt like they weren't, like, trying to prove as much. They were just letting the movie be what it needs to be.
Right, and more importantly, and the bigger reason why I feel like this succeeds where so many other Marvel movies have not that they're bad, but like the reason this one in particular was successful in its particular way was because the villain was really, really, really good.
Yes.
He had motivations that made sense. He had a relationship and something going on with more than just one character. The way he interacted with the characters made sense. His motivations made sense, and were not, I'm just evil and want to kill everything.
Right.
He was fleshed out, and he had his own arc, and he learned something and taught our main character something. I would say, besides maybe the villains from Daredevil and Jessica Jones, he's the best villain that Marvel has ever done. I would say he's the best of any movie easily, including Loki.
I have a definite affinity for Loki, but I probably would say that I like this villain more than Loki as a villain, because I don't always see Loki as a villain. If that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's true. He definitely, because like most of Thor 2, he's like on, or at least appears to be on Thor's side, right? I don't remember. We only saw that once.
Yeah. He's not always working. Like, he's for himself, you know? Like, sometimes that's with the heroes and sometimes it's against them. So,
right.
I guess that's kind of villainous, but I don't know. Regardless, I think I like Loki more overall than this villain. But
you agree it might be personal.
It might be personal, yeah. I'm trying to think of any other villains that I like as much in Marvel, and I'm having a hard time. I think you might be right. I really did. I like a lot of the villains that were in some of the movies, just not the way they were done. Oh, Magneto.
Oh, well, I'm talking MCU.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, Magneto, both Magnetos would be ahead of him.
Yeah.
Easily to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were considering.
Okay, so just MCU.
Yeah, basically him, Ultron, or Loki, because nobody else should even be in the conversation, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're all the Spider-Man villains, but I didn't particularly like how most of those were done.
And those aren't MCU either. We're only talking about Iron Man, Thor, Captain America.
Yeah.
So it's Ultron, Loki.
I'm getting confused now because now Spider-Man is in MCU, and
so, this villain,
uh-huh.
Ultron, Loki, Red Skull, Whiplash,
mm-hmm.
The Mandarin,
mm-hmm.
War Machine.
Mm-hmm. War Machine? War Machine villain?
Not War Machine. No. Yeah, War Machine. Iron Man 1. Obadiah Stane.
Obadiah Stane. War Machine, though...
I thought Patriot. War Machine and Iron Patriot are the same name. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think War Machine is only for, like, Don Cheadle's character. I cannot think of the character's name right now.
Well, Obadiah Stane, regardless. Who else? Winter Soldier. Who...
I do like him, but again, not full villain because of the personal stuff.
Right. Well, we could and should do a whole episode just choosing ranking Marvel villains.
Either way, he's way up there.
He's way up there, and we cannot mention this person. I don't know if we already have, but that would be spoiling.
Right.
But he is not the only well-developed character. This movie, I would say the plot is pretty inconsequential. It is not driven by plot, it's driven by characters and their interactions with each other. Which is awesome, and it makes sense with this. The whole thing about Guardians of the Galaxy is about how these people make sense together. I know more about these characters and who they are and why they're together and why they fight and why they care and love each other than the Avengers.
Yeah,
by far.
Definitely.
In 2 movies, than in every single other movie builds the Avengers. Besides, like, Doctor Strange, because he's not with them yet.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. They did an awesome job of characterizing everybody, given everybody some more depth and layers and interaction with each other, like more one-on-one stuff. And I love that they really developed Rocket a lot more.
Yes, they developed Rocket and Yondu and Drax and Gamora and Nebula.
Yondu, okay, that's gonna get into spoiler territory, but wow.
Yondu was awesome in this movie. He went from basically a a bit part in the first one. Well, I mean, he was in it. He had a decent. I mean, he was in it as much as Nebula probably. To one of the major characters in this movie is awesome. It's so good. Michael Rooker is like an incredible actor.
He really
I
is.
like him all. He has such presence, and he. So he sort of has like the James Franco effect to me, where like I know who he is because I've seen him in so many different things, and he basically is always the same guy.
Yeah.
But it works. I react to it differently. Like I'm happy to see him because I know that character, and I'm like welcoming
It's like
him
a
back.
familiar face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not because I am seeing the character that Michael Rooker always plays, whereas the James Franco thing is I'm seeing James Franco. Like he completely becomes his character, and even though it's the same, I like that character or similar. Broad strokes.
I think that's where we differ on James Franco because you always see him as James Franco. I always see him as the Green Goblin with amnesia. Like
Yes,
in the Spider-Man movie when
Spider-Man 3, yes.
Yeah, when he can't remember and he's like all happy and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I should say Harry Osborn with amnesia. So I always see him rather than James Franco the actor. You know.
Right, but I mean they're not that different.
No.
But I guess I see the difference there.
So it's not as like immediately off-putting for me, I guess.
Right. I thought that Drax was incredible in this.
Yeah.
So, like, when they cast Batista in the first one, people were like, oh, like, what a silly, like, what a stunt. You know, like, a wrestler is going to try to be an actor again. We saw how well that worked in the past. And he did a really good job. But I remember thinking at the time, I mean, of course, there's something to be said for, like, his screen presence and his delivery and wearing all that makeup and everything else. But he is saying lines monotone and not reacting is what he has to do. And it's not the most difficult role.
And taking things literally.
Yeah, that's ever been written.
Yeah, that's like his whole thing.
Yeah. His job is to be as flat as possible, both in output and input.
And just be intimidating.
Yeah. And so, like, it's perfect for him, but I didn't know if it meant that he was going to be a great actor. But he is, because he is different in this.
Yeah.
And has obviously grown as a character and an actor, and he is really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm going to do year-end awards again, and he's definitely a high pick for, like, best supporting actor so far this year in movies I've seen. But there was a lot of really good performances in Get Out, too. That would be tough to pick.
Yeah.
But he was an awesome guy. He was the highlight of the movie for me. And he still had really funny, great lines, too. Like, he's not, like, he still is the character that you love from the first one.
Yeah, it didn't sacrifice anything of that.
I thought that was Shadowly Can Lord, but it was Shadow Lycan Lord.
Okay.
But that's what you get when you have a name like that. I'm trying to think of what else. Okay, so another thing that I feel like this movie did better than the original is the direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like the framing of shots and the use of color and a enemy presence in the movie is called the Sovereign. Mm-hmm. And their thing.
Oh man, they were creepy.
Their thing is that they're all perfect. Every single person is completely gold. All gold clothes, all gold skin.
Hair, eyes, everything.
Yeah, and they talk, with like this affected, just we're better than you, we're perfect,
Except their eyes were like almost like a lazy eye, which I guess is supposed to be like a nod to the I don't know if inbreeding is the right word, but they are apparently genetically modified to be that perfect. So
I guess they say that in the movie that they have.
Yeah, so I guess that's why, like, that's just a side effect of the modifications.
Maybe.
So that was really off-putting.
One thing I thought was kind of interesting was when they were describing how their culture worked and the genetic stuff you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's like exactly the way that Krypton is described in the beginning of Man of Steel.
Oh, weird.
Like word for word, because that's what they do too, and like that's why Superman was special, is because it was the first natural birth, because they just choose what they're gonna be.
Oh.
Like it's exactly the same.
Okay.
Like I thought that was like bizarre. It was almost like they were like calling it out.
Yeah.
Because it was so similar, like the same sorts of words. I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool.
But like so, I don't know why this stuck with me so much. When they're fighting our heroes throughout the movie, they have ships, but they're drones.
Yeah.
And it's like Ender's Game, where they're basically playing a video game, but they're flying a robot drone ship.
Yeah.
But it's like a video game. Like it even plays like 80s sound effects, and it's so perfect.
That's awesome. I love
for, like,
that.
The 80s pastiche send up, like the whole like underrunning theme of like 80s nostalgia and love is like.
And it makes complete sense for that race too, because they don't even need to be in a real battle and sacrifice their own people. They're too perfect for that. And
Yes. I thought that was just like the cleverest thing.
Yeah.
The whole movie I was thinking about that is just
and they even
awesome.
had like scenes where some of the other drones would get blown up or whatever, and they would all huddle around one player.
Yeah, they would all watch the one. Yep.
Like waiting for that high score. That was really cool.
But when they got blown up, like their whole thing would turn red and it would do like a boom, like they're out. Like it was just so smart. Like such a cool, like a really great idea, done really well.
Yes.
So, what are some other really positive things before we move? And then we can talk about some negative stuff and then the spoilers, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's mainly like we said, the characterizations, getting everybody to have more stuff to do, and the new character, like this isn't a spoiler since it's in the commercial, but Mantis, yeah, she's a new character. She's an empath, and she's really interesting. I thought she was gonna be like just there for that one scene that they have in the trailer that makes everybody laugh every time. And she was going to be gone. I thought it was just going to be a little quick thing, but she's a main, I don't know if main character, but she's a supporting character.
Yeah, a strong supporting character, and I think her relationship with another character, shows a part of that character that we do not otherwise see.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it shows that character's nurturing side. And well, okay, we'll get back. We'll circle back around to that when we get into the spoilers. Before that, I do feel like the soundtrack was weaker, and I know that James Gunn chose the soundtrack very carefully because he set such a high standard, and I know he specifically did not want to choose chart toppers that everybody would know. But when the movie is so obsessed with its soundtrack, where it's like a running theme, the characters are even aware of it basically. I feel like the audience would enjoy it more. And I mean, maybe I just need to brush up on my 80s music. But I know a lot of 80s music, and I didn't recognize a lot of these songs.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe one or two of the deep tracks that they chose, being more recognizable, would have done a lot to making it even more enjoyable.
Yeah.
There's one action scene in particular, and they show part of it in trailer, so I don't consider this a spoiler, but where Rocket and Yondu are we'll say, working together to defeat a lot of enemies. And they play a song with it, and there's even hey, do you have any of Quill's music on board?
Yeah.
And then it's a song I didn't know. I had heard it before in my life, I think, but
it's definitely not one that you sing along to.
Right, and I don't know. It just was not. It could have been even better, and it was still one of my favorite scenes in the movie, though.
Yeah.
So. Okay, so we'll move into spoilers now. If you haven't seen the movie, I guess start it off right here. But we both highly recommend it. One of the best movies we've seen this year. Definitely worth our money. In a perfect world, I would absolutely go and see it again, because I feel like it's a movie I would enjoy a lot on a second viewing.
Yeah, definitely.
Looking for different things and kind of knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so spoilers starting now. So our main villain is Ego, the living planet, Peter Quill's father, and we were mentioning Mantis, and Mantis works for Ego, and she helps him.
I don't know if that's the right term.
Yeah, I guess is enslaved to him or whatever. Yeah, she doesn't probably get a salary.
Right.
But she helps him sleep, And I think it's because of his guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the fact that he keeps around is, like, his nurturing nature. Like, that is the child, because Ego... Okay, so basically what's going on here... And this is, like, total spoilers. If you have not seen the movie, I do not recommend listening past this. Ego has godlike powers.
Mm-hmm.
And he has decided that his role in the universe is to take over all life in it by spreading throughout. And he cannot do it by himself. Even though he is a celestial and is immortal, he still cannot... He does not have the capacity to completely dominate all life in the entire universe. It's just what we are. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So, he has made children with women from different species across millennia. And he brings them to his planet and finds out if they also can manipulate matter to do what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
And when they fail him, he kills them. So, Mantis is his guilt. That's the child, that is... He shows love to her. Like...
I don't get that. I don't see any of the love that he had for her.
Well,
at
why
all.
else would he keep her around?
Because she's useful.
Just to help him sleep?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
And to help out with the children that he's bringing, because she can manipulate emotions.
That's true.
Oh, I don't feel like helping you. Well, okay. Here comes Mantis. Now you feel like helping him.
But he must know that she knows what's going on.
I think it's very telling that she does not know how to socialize at all. Like, she's completely she doesn't have anybody to talk to. And I think if that were the case, that he saw her as a child, he would have talked to her more, and she would be a little more natural around people. But the only interaction she has are when they go and get the children and bring them, and the few minutes that she has between to interact with those before they end up dying.
The reason why I think that is he must know that she's aware of what's going on, but he doesn't kill her.
Yeah.
And he kills his children anyway.
Yeah, but
he has some compassion in her being allowed, because if he has been alive for this long, surely she is not the only being that could do what she does.
Right.
So he cares about her.
Maybe. I think I can see why you think that, but I don't agree. I think he just thinks she's useful, and he keeps her around for that.
I don't know. I mean, whatever. We disagree.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like angry. I'm just saying I don't think that's not how I read it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we both agree that she represents a part of him. Like, the fact that he can't sleep, to me, represents the guilt, not that he keeps her around. He keeps her around because he can't sleep. He can't sleep because he's guilty. Right, but she is how we can see that guilt. Like, instead of it telling us, because it never tells us why he needs her to sleep. But I mean, whatever. She's a cool character.
Yeah.
We've been going really, really long on this. We probably need to.
We'll wrap it up.
But
so Yondu, again, major spoilers. Yondu's funeral was awesome. Like, a lot of times they'll kill somebody off in a movie like this, and I really don't care. Like, it could be sad, maybe a bit, but oh well. They served their purpose, but this was really sad. And like you were saying in the theater, like, you were mad.
Yeah, I was angry because I really liked the character and I wanted him to be in more movies. And I still don't know if that's what I would have done, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else, I don't know what choices they had or whatever. But it was an awesome sequence.
Yeah, a great tribute to him at the end. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
What is that sound?
So when you hit the directional buttons, you do emotes, and there's one where you are like getting electrocuted.
Oh,
and
okay.
Somebody was just doing it.
It sounded like some sort of Jar Jar sound
Yeah,
effect or
I don't
something.
think that's a coincidence.
So, what else about the movie? I know it had so much to say.
Yeah, if we have consistent more thoughts of stuff that we really must say, we will revisit Guardians 2. But I think we need to leave it here because we've been going almost half an hour. But it's an awesome movie.
Oh yeah.
I really could not recommend it more highly. I would say it's the Marvel movie
What-
that I've most enjoyed in some time.
Did we address? We said we were going to circle back to something.
Yeah, it was Mantis's character and her relationship with Ego.
Was it? I thought there was somebody else.
I am positive.
Okay.
Got 'em. They're all defeated.
How dare you say it like that? You should watch this video and listen. Because that there may be something else that we wanted to touch back on, but when I said circle back, it was referring to Mantis.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because it was awesome. Thank you to Science Century for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
If you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss more war stories like this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They're usually not quite so long-winded. But if you didn't, there's stuff every single day on the Florensons channel. Lots of different things. Check it all out. I don't know about you guys, but we're full.